Hey guys, Caleb's Cards here, coming at you with a World War II episode. I'm going to be reading some of the letters that I got through Scott Masters at Crestwood Preparatory College in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. He has written and reached out to a whole bunch of veterans and done interviews with them online or over the phone or even maybe even by mail for a few of them. I'm just kind of trying to get their stories and yeah, having to preserve their history and what they did. He's got a lot of Canadians, World War II veterans, or even Canadian veterans from wars after that, or just or service members. He's got some British, even some German, other European countries, as well as U.S. So when he reaches out to them, he gives them my contact info and a few other people, and some of them are willing to send a little something over, and it's really cool just to hear back from them and just to know that Scott and they are thinking of me. So I really appreciate them doing that, taking their time doing that, and Scott taking his time as well to go out of his way for that. I've been trying to get him some people also to interview with and send out his contact info. And giving him some stamps too, some plywood stamps so he can send out his letters and things. So if you want to go check out what he does, his link is down below for you to go check that out. And you can listen to some interviews he's done. So we have three here we can do. And as you can see, he many times he'll do classes on Zoom, and sometimes he can give out the link if you want to listen in. But this first one, and some of these people aren't necessarily World War II veterans, but some of them might be Korea or Vietnam, but most are usually World War II. This first one is going to be from May Cryer. I know it's backwards because the camera's mirroring effect, but I'll read it to you here. So, May Cryer was born in North Dakota in the 1920s. Calvin Coolidge was president, and it was during the Great Depression and the infamous Dust Bowl. Her family was poor, but a happy family with very loving and generous parents. Things didn't start to get better until Roosevelt brought in programs like the WPA and the CCCs. They were great programs to help bring us out of the Depression. By then the clouds of war were starting to gather. May remembers December 7, 1941 well. It was a Sunday, and she and her sister were at a movie. When they came home, their parents were sitting by the radio very upset. They told the girls that Japan had bombed Pearl Harbor. Within weeks, all of the young men signed up and left for war. May remembers the day her brother enlisted. She found her father crying later that day, a memory that she will never forget. With the boys gone, the girls decided to get into the act also. May, her sister, and a friend decided to go to Seattle and work at Boeing for the summer, thinking that it would be a lark. They built B-17s and B-29s. May was a Rosie the Riveter, and we've gotten a few of those ladies' signatures, so that's always cool. I get Rosie the Riveters. In 1944, on the dance floor at the Servicemen's Center in Seattle, she met a sailor who could really dance. They became good friends and were later married. When men came home from war, they were greeted with a parade and flying flags. The Rosies came home with a pink slip. May has since dedicated herself to making sure that she and the women of her generation are remembered. She has won many accolades, and on March 21st, 2023, the first National Rosie the Riveter Day was celebrated. So, yeah, a lot of the war equipment, a lot of the um, machinery was built by women. So, if it weren't for the efforts of the ladies during that time, uh, I don't I don't know if we would have been victorious. To be quite honest, I think we would have been hurting. So definitely a big shout out to these ladies. So there's a little bit closer up for pictures. Um, you got Miss Julia Parsons there. I don't think I've gotten her signature yet, but very cool. And then she just wrote a note down here. I'll see if I can read it. She said, "I hope you enjoy my story. I had a great time. I think it says um, zooming with Scott Masters. Please do. Um, not sure. Please something about my story." And Message enclosed. Well, maybe there was another letter with this. I'm not sure. And then she signed down at the bottom. So it's very cool. So thank you, Miss May Cryer, and thank you again for your service. I'm hoping to get another Rosie the Riveter, who is the original um, Dorothy Crate, I believe is her name. I'm hoping that she will sign for me. So we'll see. I got that one out in the mail. Next up, we have a Canadian uh, World War II veteran here. She was in the Royal Canadian Air Force. So this is Joanne Cracknell. There's the letter. And if you want to look at the pictures there, you can see it. I'll read her story here for you. Miss Joanne Cracknell was born July 3rd, 1923, in Ottawa. Her father worked for the federal government, and Joanne grew up there in the interwar years. Attending Ottawa Ladies College, times got tough when her father lost his job as the Depression set in, but he was able to pick up some work on the side. That work unfortunately involved using some hazardous chemicals, and Joanne's mother fell ill and died of cancer, likely because of those carcinogens. Joanne was able to graduate high school, and she took work at a war bond office. She didn't like the work though and wanted to do more, so she decided to join the RCAF Women's Division, or they were called WDs. Her initial training took place at Rockcliffe, not too far from her home. Joanne's mother was, or sorry, yeah, not too far from Joanne. Yeah, Joanne's mother was very ill by this time, and she passed away early on in Joanne's time as a WD. After Rockcliffe, Joanne went to Montreal, where she was trained in Morse code. The next stop would be British Columbia. After a long and uncomfortable train journey, Joanne was stationed at Alaford Bay, and her main task was to take down Morse code messages. On one occasion, they experienced a Japanese submarine scare, and on another occasion, Joanne and a friend decided to hitchhike down to Mexico. Joanne spent about a year on the West Coast, and when the war concluded, she returned to Ottawa. She had decided to take advantage of the military's demobilization policies and was ready to attend university. She went to the University of Toronto, where she earned a degree in occupational therapy, and she took that knowledge to hospitals in Toronto and St. Thomas, helping veterans and other Canadians to recover and find their place in the post-war world. Joanne Cracknell has interviewed by Scott Masters in August 2023 at her home in Owen Sound. So she definitely does not look 100 years old for sure. So it's pretty cool. She wrote a little note down here and then signed, as you can see. Says, "Hello, Caleb. Keep up your studies of World War II. Glad to know young people are interested. Don't forget the role of women. Enjoy your studies." Yes, definitely not. Do not forget the role of women and what women had done during the war. So that's really cool. And then we just have a shorter one here. World War II veteran. This is Jean-Gabriel Castel, who is a man who has lived an exciting and varied life filled with unique stories and experiences. Born in Nice, France in 1928, he spent part of his youth as part of the French resistance in World War II, challenging Germany's wartime occupation of his homeland. He and his family survived all the difficult experiences of the war years, the hunger, the deportations, the tension that filled each day. When the war concluded, he went on to become one of the first scholars of the Fulbright program and an intern at the United Nations. He also taught law at McGill University and the Osgood School of Law, and they have an annual lecture named for him at York University. So very cool. So part of the French resistance. Uh, that is Mr. Jean-Gabriel Castel. So that's awesome. So 3 World War II veterans there, all from 3 different countries who have different experiences. That's pretty cool. And to be able to read about that in 2024 is even cooler. So I do hope you guys enjoyed this first episode. Trying to get back to doing that. I have a whole bunch more that I can read, and I'm sure maybe a few more will dabble in here as time goes on. So looking forward to reading those with you, trying to do those regularly on Wednesdays since it's my off day. So it kind of makes sense I can do that. And then do our regular TTM recap videos on either Saturday or Sunday. So All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you again so much to these folks for their service and the dedication to their countries and preserving our freedoms and our rights and fighting against evil and just things that inhumane things. I know, um, maybe at the time, the people we were fighting against, they thought that what they were doing was right, but I think history uh, proved that. I mean, both sides, you can argue they did some bad things, but I think ultimately, to preserve other people's lives and to preserve the freedoms that we have today, could not have been done without these people's sacrifice and their willingness to fight. So, thank you again. And thank you again, Scott. And make sure you guys go check out Scott and the VBC. The link's down below if you have not. So, talk to you guys later. Bye.